Welcome to this lesson on project management. In this lesson, we'll be talking about the history of project management, the definition of project management, and we'll try to differentiate it from the functional project management in an organization. So let's discuss what project management actually is.
Well, the history of project management is not new. If you think about it, you know all about great projects like the Great Wall of China or the Pyramid or even Machu Picchu in Mexico. All these big endeavours could not have been accomplished without proper project management. Remember, the resources were not infinite. They always had some limitations on resources. The labour supply, the raw materials, all of that was always a constraint. On top of that, the transportation techniques, the construction equipment, they were not as modern as we see today. If you look at some of these monuments, you'll realise that they had imported materials from all over the world. For example, if you look at the Taj Mahal, there are pearls and semi-precious stones that were imported from Turkey and some parts of Europe. Now, of course, somebody was managing the project. Somebody was managing contracts. Someone was managing schedules. Somebody was managing time. Somebody was managing resources. Somebody was looking at labour requirements. Labour training and apprenticeships are quite well known in skill-based professions. So there were all kinds of on-the-job training, appropriate training processes and systems that were in place. All of that could not have been accomplished without some form of formal project management system. Of course, we don't know much about it because our documentation from that era is limited. However, the birth of modern project management happened in the 1950s and 60s with some of the big programs, such as the space program, the defence program, and all of that led to a lot of knowledge that we're privy to these days. So that's pretty much the brief history of project management. If somebody says that project management didn't exist before the 20th century, I think they're mistaken. It's a misconception on our part to assume that project management is so new that we're the inventors of it. When we look at these huge buildings, they could not have been accomplished without appropriate levels of project management. These days, we're under a lot of pressure to look at project management and to adopt appropriate and scientific project management techniques. Now, there are several reasons for that. Of course, the economic pressures have increased. There's growing competition due to the free market, and there's technological complexity, which is growing all the time. Projects are not that simple. The products are not that simple. There's a greater regard for health and well-being of the stakeholders. Health and safety has become a big issue in any kind of project these days. Clients are more involved and they're more educated. Of course, we need some sort of formal mechanism to manage the change that automatically comes as part of project management. And the risks have increased. Both the quantity of risk and the impact of those risks have gone up, and we need some sort of formalised mechanism to control those risks, hence the need for project management. There are several advantages of adopting a formalised project management system in your project. In the beginning, it gives the client more information and knowledge about how much the project is going to cost, the change that's going to be introduced, how the benefits will be attained by the organisation. A project manager with a sound knowledge of modern tools and techniques is most probably going to introduce changes that are part of project execution more efficiently. He's going to look at what to prioritise and also ensure that the profit and growth of the organisation is not compromised. So, let's talk about what is project management. The classic definition that is often given by the organisation of professional bodies such as the Association of Project Management is that project management is the planning, organising, directing, monitoring and controlling of all aspects of a project and the motivation of all involved to achieve the project objectives safely and within the agreed time, cost, quality and performance. Another more crude definition that you more often find people talking about is a project is an endeavour with a beginning and an end and some fixed deliverables to be achieved towards the end. So, eventually it ends and there's something that comes out of it which is tangible. Now, who is a project manager? Well, a project manager is an individual to whom the authority, responsibility and accountability has been assigned to achieve the project objectives within an agreed period of time, cost and quality performance. So, looking at this definition, it indicates some level of empowerment along with some level of accountability. So, a project manager is an individual who is empowered to make the decisions and calls and then can be held accountable if the project objectives are not met. Having introduced the concept of project management, you now could be asking, okay, so if this is project management, then how is it different from functional management? A project generally has a specific start date and a finish date, as we just discussed, whereas the functional department will not have a fixed date of start or finish. It'll be there till the organisation exists. For example, a sales department or a marketing department don't come and go with the project. They exist in the organisation. A project generally will have a multidisciplinary team who come together just temporarily to accomplish the endeavour, whereas the functional department have a more stable team. Now, there's something new about a project every time you do it, even if you're building something that is exactly the same as the previous one you have built. You'll realise that things have changed. The time has changed, the costs have changed, the impact of resources has changed. So all of that's changed. Whereas in a normal functional department, you will see that things are more stable. Now, there are always things, you know, in a project generally, and although you try to achieve a certain level of cost and schedule guarantee, you're still not sure as things are still changing. Whereas in a functional department, you can generally have a fixed budget or close to it with minor modification. There won't be a lot of surprises throughout the year. But a project's life cycle is limited, it ends. Whereas in a functional department, it stays there till the organisation needs it.